Right. So largely what I was working on was the skybox.
Okay.
Specifically visibility. So I've given our area a ceiling, basically a roof, that I'll add a texture to.
Okay.
So visibility, if I was to hide it from the scene view, it would. Yeah. So I created the flashlight functionality. I've been tweaking the flashlight functionality. So from like the game view perspective, largely basically seeing how the flashlight will work since it's our main point of light.
Yeah.
In the maze portion of the game. So what we need is a ladder maze, just a very large structure.
Okay.
Okay, I think I made something. What did I?
Is he not able? Is the character not able to move?
He was able to move last time, but I don't think I tested it with a new flashlight.
Okay.
Kind
of, but we can clearly see that the environment now it's completely dark. We just need to. So I'm guessing now you need to fix the movement to the. Wait, you change the flashlight?
I changed the flashlight, the code for the flashlight.
Okay.
But it shouldn't have
messed to the.
I see what the issue is. It's when I added the ceiling, it's holding me in place. Let me just change that a little. Yeah, it's not a problem with the movement controls ceiling that I added. There we go. Up, everything's fine. Yeah, now it's moving. So my next point of action is now, I think the biggest thing we need right now is our timer. From the programming perspective, what we need right now is timing functionality.
Timing.
Yeah. Here are some battery assets. So what we need now is the timing functionality. So remember the timing is supposed to be executed.
Yeah.
Remember the timing is supposed to be executed by reducing the brightness of
the flashlight.
Yes.
Until you pick up another battery, right?
Yeah. So now if we come here to what I'd want to do, what I think we can cover is the spotlight here. Basically edit the shape out.
Yeah.
So that it becomes narrower, and then the intensity reduces by. Then the intensity continues reducing like second by second.
Progressively,
yeah. So those and
but then we'll need to create some sort of function to measure the initial state of the battery as the game starts or level, and then as time moves on, obviously the battery should, not the battery, the flashlight should progressively dim. The intensity should
It's just that I think it will be a simple script that I can work on. I can work up on my free time.
Okay.
So you can see, I think the range was a bit short before. Let me see if I can get it down to the edge of the hallway. Anyway,
So
that's currently for the maze functionality, the maze project. What we can, and then next, now this is like, I think the least finished part of the project currently. Because at this point, it's just a simple canvas. I got this asset from somewhere. So we just need someone to hopefully design, if someone can do some pixel art, just some simple animations.
I can try and do that on.
What point does the level start?
Once there's some console assets I'm importing right now. I think I found last night. It's basically supposed to be, let me see if I can screen share the Unity page.
And Nathan,
Yeah.
I'm also thinking maybe we need to change the way you structured some of the folders so we can easily know what's what. Obviously, you know what's what because you've been mostly working on it.
Yeah.
So we need to modify the folder structure so it's easier for us to make sense of what's what.
Okay. Let me import this. Let me show you this after
We'll do this. We'll do it after.
So wait, just give me a second. Importing this to the project. Okay. Let me pause and then go back. So the point I think here should be, let me go back to our original scene. Scene view, maybe hide the ceiling. So
the
OG goal was to have there's an asset packet I'm importing right now, just to show you like a bit of what I had thought of doing. Yeah, here's one of the, okay, I've imported. It should be this one, Cosmic Retro prefabs. So maybe we put this.
Where did you source the asset from?
The assets, the Unity asset store.
Oh, okay.
So let me. We have this. I come here. Ground is what? 0, 0, let me put that.
Also thinking, by the way, the battery you added, the one we saw in the maze, to place it there, or was it automatically, or was it randomly generated?
I placed them there for now, just because this is just a testing. A maze for testing. I think from like the gameplay, let's see how this thing looks.
Okay.
Goal is that computer should be an interactable object.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like this.
Oh,
It creates a wall like between here and the battery, this battery.
okay.
And then you interact with this. Maybe like you press the E key.
Then you start the what?
You start there. Then you start the mini game.
The mini game, okay.
And transitions to the mini game but the goal would be at least in this
Sorry,
case.
Nathan, could you just come again?
Yeah, okay. So basically you're supposed to interact with this object. There's a wall there'll be a wall between you and this battery object, for example.
Okay.
Basically how the levels will be structured, the maze will be structured. Walls between you and this, the battery, which is what will extend your playtime.
Mm.
So again, remember as we discussed, the way the battery goes out, when the battery goes down to like the maximum, so let's say like 0%, game over. So your goal is to get, so hopefully what the next thing I plan is, once we've implemented that timing mechanism, I can put it into this, we use the scene transition and create this as an interactable object. So that once you interact with it, it transitions to the mini game. And from the mini game, you're able to interact. And from the mini game, the timer for the mini game will also be the same battery timer.
Okay.
We just pass along the data of like whatever the battery percentage is now. So we can create a variable like battery, pass along that data to that thing and have it serve as our timer. And then you're trying to complete the puzzle before the battery goes out entirely.
Okay.
So what we need now is our levels.
The levels and
Just the maze design.
okay.
So I've showed you how the thing should be done.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I've showed you like the basic template for how this should be. But what I haven't, I think, gone through really is how the final level not final level, how I wanted my plans for the the 2D levels.
The 2D levels.
Yeah. So I'd thought of okay, but like I think we need this one should be the level designer, but what my original idea was have it be passing a wire along through maybe from one side of the screen to another. And then we can create like a character asset for someone who has a gun and maybe he has to shoot obstacles to pass through them.
Okay.
So that's your idea for the so we were to create puzzle games, yeah.
This is the puzzle. Basically just a 2D mini game.
Oh.
So this is basically an asset just to show maybe some of this functionality can make it to the final level. Basically like you can create it like a jetpack or something. I don't know.
So we'll have mini games, like 2D games and the puzzle games.
Yeah.
They're two different things.
Yeah, that's at least that. Hopefully, that's the plan. Yeah, that's it from me. So I think now we can just move on to level design.
Mm.
Are you recording?
Okay, so I was saying my idea for the first level design mini game. I was thinking something along the lines of a memory match mini game, maybe. So we could have like tiles on the floor, like on the ground, and the tiles have like symbols on them. So obviously the tiles are covered. You won't be able to see the symbols, but you essentially have to like match them. So we could have like maybe 6 of them on the ground. At the same time, there is a timer that is, counting down. So if you do not match all the tiles within the time frame, you lose, you fail the level. But if you do match the tiles within the time frame, you could get maybe rewards like extra battery packs or resources that would help brighten up your flashlight, and that would be clearing the level. And you.
So my suggestion was the player can unscrew woods, like it's like a puzzle game. So you unscrew the woods, and then it has a timer, and the rewards can be like the battery. Yeah, you unscrew the wood. There's a game like that called Word Screw, so that's where I got my idea from. Wood screw. Sorry.
Sorry, I don't get it. What do we do?
You unscrew like wood. Woods have been screwed together. And then
wood, like
wood.
Did you say wood?
Mbao, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wood. And then and there's a timer. So you have to unscrew all the screws that have screwed that wood. And now your reward is the battery, whatever, like a flashlight, kitu kama hiyo.
So your reward of
if you pass that level
is more
on time.
I do think the reward for completing a level should just be replenishing your battery.
Before Kezia spoke, I had an idea for level 2. Okay, I don't know, maybe just creativity is hitting me today, but I was saying, after we do the memory match for level 1, level 2, we could do something like, I'm trying to like phrase it. Give me a sec. Something like, like for example, let's say, okay, give me 1 sec.
Okay. But I feel we should focus more on the functionality, then we can work on the looks of the game. Because either way, we'll get a leniency given that our game is already most. So let us try and figure out the levels and the thingies. Then in the game itself, then toward next week we can really now make sure we can make sure we can flash out the game, complete most of the levels, the mini games, and then we can now really work on some of the assets. Preferably mostly like we'll figure out what assets we focus on anyways. But the asset should be ideally lower on priority than the levels and the mini games.
Okay, Xavier, I have found a way to like phrase it now.
Mm.
So, I was thinking, since I had suggested the tiles for level 1, like just something, because that's essentially, I don't want like the games to be hard. That's like where I'm coming from, okay? But at the same time, the game should like have an increasing difficulty to them. So level 1 was just like you marching, that was fine, and with the timer. Then I was thinking for level 2, still it could be like the same type of setting, but now like say we have pads instead of like there were tiles pads. I feel like they're almost the same thing, tiles pads, but they like glow in a sequence. So like or like they light up in a sequence maybe. So let's say we have like we could do any number, 5, whatever pads. So they would like light up. Maybe the first to light up is pad 1, followed by 3, then the fourth one lit up, then the fifth one. Then after the sequence like plays of how it is supposed to look like, it would now stop. Then it's now the player's turn to like recreate that sequence. For every misstep, your flashlight dims down. Or we could also implement a live type of thing, like 3 lives type of thing. For every misstep, you lose a life. But I was thinking, because we were keeping it mainly around the flashlight, maybe you could also do for every misstep, your flashlight dims. But if you complete like all the sequences correctly, then by the end, your flashlight again is like full and whatnot. Does that make sense to you guys? What do you think?
Yeah. So do write down and chat the ideas. You can just go through them. But it's a good idea.
All right. So this is just to go through some of the changes we've made over the course of the last few weeks. So currently, we made a change after player feedback. We made a change to our main menu screen to make it match the look and feel of our game more. So whereas before it was a GIF of technical lines, now it is an animation of a flashlight on top of the background texture that we've used for the walls in our game, further suiting what our overall vision was for the game itself. We also changed the name of the game after we found that the original name doesn't really suit the current vision of the game. So whereas before it was Circuit Crisis, now it's Battery Panic, based on the battery mechanic that we've been using in our game so far. So we've added a tutorial segment in our game that allows the player to see the instructions for what they should carry out over the course of the game. So you keep an eye on the battery. If it dies, so do you. Access any consoles you find to complete puzzles. Shows the directions, the movement directions, the type of puzzle they'll expect to encounter, and the final console. In the top left, the top right corner, we have the instruction buttons. So between pressing E to interact with objects like this, and the pause button by pressing P, which also cuts it back to your tutorial page. So then we can come over here and interact with the game. So the memory match puzzle flashes fast to the tiles underneath, so the player can get acquainted with them. And so once the vault is opened, we can access these batteries and keep on traversing the maze until we reach the final object. So this is the final maze. Yeah, the final puzzle, for which we've managed to get the last battery. And then we have the final console. So once you interact with this, it tells you that you've completed the level. Then it gives you a choice between retrying at the current level, going to the next one, and quitting the game entirely. So if we move on to the next level, we are now currently in level 2, which has a different layout than the original one, with increased difficulty. So the maze is larger. The previous maze was a 12 by 12 maze. This is 14 by 14. And as you can see, the puzzles are a lot more difficult. So this is our 4 by 2 matrix instead of 3 by 2. And basically the game goes on like this until the end.
Mostly to So as the sound designer, my role was to create a soundscape that enhances the urgency and atmosphere of the game. It was to create some immersion. For example, an ambient sound that you can hear, it's the low frequency digital hums and faint static that set the mood and immerse the player in the cold artificial world of the system. And it creates a sense of isolation and constant digital presence, like the environment is alive and watching. There are interaction sounds, like when the interaction sounds like beeping when pressing keys, like when you press the letter E or pause. There's that sound which gives the player feedback to help them understand their actions. There are also warning sounds, like you can hear that beep when the battery is low or when the energy is being depleted. It creates a sense of tension and urgency, and these sounds are more aggressive and repetitive so that the player can feel the pressure to act quickly and not waste time. There are mechanical sounds, so when the player goes to the hydraulic bolts to open and play the puzzle games, the doors slide, like there's that sound to bring the environment to life and to remind the player they are in a machine controlled world.
Now the puzzles level designer would use.
All right, so for our game, we had puzzles which were embedded into each level. So the player gets to interact with the puzzles when they come across a vault. So when you interact with the vault, it automatically takes you to a puzzle that you have to solve. So for the puzzle, we decided on a memory match puzzle that increases in difficulty progressively across the levels. So the first level would just be a simple 6-tile 3-pair match. The second level would be a 8 tiles 4-pair match, and so on. And this is basically just simple, at the same time not frustrating for the player to do.
Now our asset designer will assets that we game. Now our game asset designer continues through.
I was the game character stroke, the asset designer, and my role was to create the immersive maze world that the players can explore. Mostly there was the glowing puzzle boards that help players spot different objectives in the dark. There was the maze structure that was designed to control the pacing and the flow of the player's exploration. And lastly, our character identity was mostly our game is played in first person. So we defined that the player is not just human and more a digital technician inside a machine. And this influenced how the assets react to the player, the doors opening, and how the puzzle is solved. Yeah, that's it.